Hi everyone, I'm Jane Trotter and this is Accelerando Piano. Today we're going to learn how to play Christopher Norton's piece Struttin, and it's from his micro jazz series. I'm going to play it through for you first and then give you lots of tips for how to make learning the piece a whole lot easier. Alrighty, let's do a little bit of analysis because there's quite a bit of repetition in the piece, which will make it a whole lot easier and a whole lot quicker to learn. So let's have a look at the score. I'll just show it to you in its entirety first so you can see how it's all arranged. The first little pattern to watch out for in your left hand is this one. It covers 2 bars. And that is your pattern there, the C, E, F and G. And you'll notice that that happens 3 times. So that makes that pattern nice and easy. The next pattern we've got is this one here, which is a slightly longer pattern. It goes over these bars. And that's your descending pattern down from C. Goes right down to your little finger for the F, then next door for F sharp and next door for your G. So I'll show you that. This is your C. In fact, we'll put the overhead camera on. There's your C. And we're going to go down C, B flat, A, G, right down to F, then next door F sharp, next door G. Now notice I used slightly different fingers than what's on the score. The score's got 5, 2, 1. If you've got larger hands, it's a bit tricky to bunch that up. So I prefer going 5, 4, 3, or you go 5, 3, 2, whichever's most comfortable for you. Stick with that fingering though, don't change it halfway through your practice because you want to keep your fingering really consistent. Now there's that little bit right at the end, which is this part here, these 3 notes, and these guys are right down on that B flat. It's a B flat, B natural, going to C. So again, they are a semitone apart, those ones. And you've got that nice little swing. Let's go back to the right hand. Now I'm going to zoom in a little bit here and I'm going to look at a couple of bars. I'm going to look at, in fact I will highlight them. I'm going to look at this bar and this bar. Can you spot the difference? They're very, very similar, but there is one note different between the first one and the second one. The first one is your E, heads up a skip, down to D, and down to C. And the first 2 in the piece are like that, E, G, D, C. But then the next 2, if you look at the one with the flat here, that's what makes it different. So instead of doing E, G, D, C, we have the E flat. So I'll show you that on the piano. So the first one had all the white keys. E, G, D, C. And it sounds major. It's happy. And then we've got the E flat. So your third finger is just dropping down to that black key. E flat, G, D, C. So if we pull this back now, so you can see here that we have got these first two are the E, G and D, C. And then the last two here are the ones with the E flat. Now that, believe it or not, is half the right hand learned. There's one other pattern that your right hand does. And if we check out the music one more time, let's have a look. We have got this little section here. And that section repeats there. Woo! Repeats there. Woo! Repeats there. Brilliant. So basically, by doing that little pattern, you've learned the other half of the right hand. So let's check out what that right hand pattern is doing. We'll go back to the music and let's zoom in a little bit closer. Okay, so we're shooting right up to a high E flat. And then it's going down by step. And it's got a little skip to your A. And then it goes back to your C. So let me show you that with the overhead camera. It's up to that E flat, down to D, skip. So you've had your second finger on your C. You're going to stretch past the B with your thumb, down to your A, and then go back to C. So you've got 4, 3, 2, 1, and then back to 2. So that's how the piece all fits together. Let's take a look at the right hand rhythm. And for this, we want to do a swinging rhythm. So it's got that really cool kind of laid back jazzy flavour. And to make that a bit easier, I've added words to the piece. And here we go. You can see I've added walking along, I'm having a good time. So what I'm going to do is play it and sing it in a very sort of strict, straight way first, and then I'm going to put the swinging rhythm in, and hopefully you'll hear the difference. So here's the first one. I'm keeping it really straight, very sort of strict. So walking along, I'm having a good time. Okay, now I'm going to make it slightly cruisier with that swinging rhythm. Walking along, I'm having a good time. And that's got more of a laid back kind of casual feel. And the indication at the start of the piece to tell us that the rhythm is swung is here, particularly this little bit. That tells us we're going to swing the quavers. So there we go. That's a little tip to help with the right hand rhythm. So we've learned it separate hands first. We're all good with our left hand, we're good with the right hand, we've got all the patterns sussed. It's now time to put it hands together. So let's have a look at that. Your first 4 right hand notes will all fit with that C in your left hand. And think of the words with it. Walking along. That's your first little section. And then straight after, you're going to bring in your third finger for your left hand. Walking along. That took us up to the F in the next bar. Okay, so far so good. The next bit is slightly trickier because on the I'm, this guy, that is going to sneak in before your left hand G. And on having, the have part, your right hand D and your left hand G are going to sound at the same time. So what you can do is just play the second bar in isolation. And you can break it down even further if you want. So you could play your left hand F and just bring in that E flat. 1, 2. And once you've done that, 1, 2. And remember that top E flat will come in after beat 2. 1, 2. You can move on to the start of beat 3 and just get that coordination going. And I would do that a couple of times. And then you can add in the next one. And then add in the next one. So really you're just building up that bar in small increments. And then eventually you'll add in the third bar. Words are great to help with rhythm and coordinating things in together like that. So if you find saying the words like I was as you were playing it is helpful, do that. It's a great way to learn the piece. What can be very common when people learn this is that they'll get faster on those 3 notes. So it'll sound like this. You can hear I raced these guys. I went, woohoo, way too fast. So what you want to do is make sure you are counting your 2 beats for those left-hand notes. So if I count as I go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's the first thing you want to watch out for, is that you're not racing those 3 notes at the end of that line. Now the second thing to watch out for is you've got quite a gap in your right hand, or a leap from the C at the end of the first little pattern right up to the E flat at the start of the second pattern in your right hand. So if we put the overhead camera on, when we've got this, we're going from there and we've got to get right up to there for that next pattern. Now you have got a whole lot of rests. Check out those guys. Use them to your advantage. Don't wait to move at the end. So you don't want to do this. And race there thinking, oh no, where have I got to get to? Use the rests, get there in plenty of time so you're not panicked about bringing in the E flat. So you can do something like this. Use those rests. See, I'm already there. And last, but by no means least, we have to watch out for all the dynamic and articulation markings. So what are dynamics and what are articulation? Dynamics refer to the louds and softs. So on the music, we have an MP, which means moderately soft, an MF, which is moderately loud, and an F, which is loud. So we want to translate all of that into our playing. And articulation are things like this little accent here and the slur marking here. So the accent means to give it slightly more weight, slightly more emphasis. And the slur means to keep everything under that curvy line smooth. Of course, we've also got the staccato dots, which are these little guys here. So those notes are staccato and accented. So there we go. That's our quick tour of how to play Struttin by Christopher Norton. It's a really fun little piece. I enjoy teaching it. My students really enjoy playing it, and I hope you will too.